All right, good morning. Welcome back for another recap. We're going to take a look at the recent stock that was traded yesterday, INVO. And I do want to also go over some previous tickers on the week because they all had a very similar setup and setups that we could have potentially recognized pre-market and actually, have been traded a little bit better, at least on my end. But yeah, if you were able to recognize these setups earlier, you can recognize specific target on the chart on each one of these tickers that were traded this week, and actually may have been able to improve our performance. So I do want to go over this because it's very interesting, the setups that we have been seeing. But yeah, INVO, this one here, very tough to trade because of all the halts. We had a lot of 10-minute halts here and there, but there's still opportunity. We can go over some of the opportunities that I took, as well as some opportunities that I may have missed. But yeah, right out of the opening gate, we can see and obviously clear gap pre-market. So we have a typical gap and go setup, consolidating right around VWAP on VWAP or near the highs, and you can get a quick dip and rip through the highs or a quick pop. It doesn't always squeeze through the highs, but in this case, you're able to see a nice move from 30 all the way up to 45, so about 15 cents a share. I was able to get some of that on some decent share size, but I sold a little bit too soon. Should have been scaling half out into this move, but surprisingly, it did fade all the way back down. I thought that was it. But on the larger time frame, you can see we had that previous move on 23rd of October, a nice big move here from 50 cents all the way up to $3. That's a pretty significant move. We started fading since then. And after we based out on a support level, maybe we may have broken down here, based out on previous support level, but we have not yet squeezed out any short sellers or any late shorts to the party on this move. And a lot of the times when you see a chart like this that's made a big move and starts fading towards the low without any significant bounce, you should keep it on a side chart, because a lot of times you will get that dead cat bounce opportunity, which we saw here on INVO as well as other tickers. And that is just a culmination. There may not even be news on the specific day. For example, today there wasn't specific news on INVO. It's purely a technical setup. And that's mostly because of shorts taking their profits at a support level. Also, you have longs getting long on a support level. So we're basing out nice support here at 80 cents. So right around 75, 80 cents, you have a support level. So you have shorts taking profits, bulls getting long, and any late shorts getting squeezed out in this area. So any shorts, who started their position late to the party, let's say on this day, a day after it made its big move, on the 24th, their average position is around 180, maybe to between 140 and 180 is probably their average position. And on this day, they're either cutting for a break-even trade or taking small losses. And so that also can add fuel to the bounce move. And the bounce move is definitely a good setup that you should have in the arsenal, because past 3 days, we haven't really had fresh news on a fresh ticker. A lot of it's just been continuing trading previous tickers that made a big move based purely on technical plays, which we saw here on INVO. We curled up, squeezing through, making a new relative high or a higher high. So we have here our high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, and then it's our first higher high, squeezing out any shorts, bulls getting long, and shorts taking their profits if they're still in from the previous big move. But yeah, the target here was, if you could have recognized this pre-market, price was basing out right around between 140 and 135. So that puts price right around 140, 135. So pretty much right at that high of one. So we'll put it at 140 here. So the target breakout should be break of 140, because that's when you have the pivot point to the higher high, squeezing out any late shorts, and then shorts from up here taking profits due to a technical breakout. So that should be the target breakout that you're looking to get. So we can remove this. I can remove this. There we go. So, picture perfect, triple top here at the highs, and then right at the open, the surge of volume breaks through that level. And I thought that was it. I thought, like, wow, we broke that technical level. Target was hit, break of 140. And I was thinking, now it's fading back to the lows pretty hard. Selling off back to the lows, I thought that would have been it. But once we started breaking back over VWAP, I was like, oh wow, this could go again. We have two really strong bullish candles here, breaking back over VWAP, closing above VWAP. That's always a good sign that there might be more squeezing to come. And we do curl up through, a little bit choppy in this area, but we do curl up through, squeeze to the highs, and halt up, gap up 30 cents. This is a massive gap, 13% gap. From close to open. We halt back up. You open up flat. Whenever you open up flat, especially if it's already made a significant move, so we're halting up after a 33% move without any consolidation. And if you're opening up flat up here, that's definitely bearish. If you're stuck in that halt, take your break-even trade or take your profits or whatever, because definitely high risk, getting in, starting a position up here. We halt back down. This would have been a great dip. I was trying to time this dip off the 9 EMA, but by the time it hit buy, it's like my order went through, but the entry was already gone, and it kept filling me high, and then I was cutting for a small loss. So that happened a couple times in this area. And then here again, you can see, we're definitely having signs of a bounce, because we did base out. Let's see the 5 minutes. Was it on the 9? Yeah, it was on the 9 EMA here on the 5 minute. So it was a 5 minute 9 EMA setup. And you can see the red candles were getting significantly smaller as we were pulling back. And that's always a good sign that there's some support coming in, especially when it's right around a significant support level, which would be the 5 minute 9 EMA. We did get a nice bounce off the 5 minute 9 EMA. I did not get into that as aggressive as I wanted to. I got a small profit, but man, like I was a nervous Nelly on this pullback, because a lot of the times these pullbacks, at least the past few weeks, have just been shitting the bed. They just go straight down and offer no significant bounce. So I was a nervous Nelly on this pullback, and actually ended up cutting my loss too soon, or cutting my gain too soon, taking my profits too soon. We curl back up and squeeze back through the highs, another halt up, resuming at the highs. And then this candle was a crazy one. We can actually review that in the live trading archive. And then from there, that was pretty much it on INVO. Chopping around, consolidating in this area, attempted again for the highs, but rejected pretty hard. We can take a look in the recap for INVO. Yeah, this was a crazy candle. So we open up. We're like about to halt up, and then we flip red, and then we're about to halt down, And I'm like, I'm super patient right here. I'm super patient. We're about to halt down. Catch a quick dip, because I see that we're hesitating on the dip here. I think we could potentially see another pop up. Take my quick 2-cent profits. We halt down. I'm very, very pause off because of the dip into the halt down. And we did see that false halt. So the dip into the halt down, I'm very now keen of being careful of catching a halt down on a dip, because that's like my biggest losses. So I'm always keeping aware of the halt lower level. If there's some room to the halt lower level, I will catch a dip. But if we're dipping right on a halt level, on the halt down, I will usually let it go without me. And if it does start to halt down, maybe catch the false halt if it decides to do that. But yeah, you can see here we're about to halt down, and then starts to get chipped away. And you can kind of see some orders going. There you go. You had like maybe 2 seconds to get in. I was able to get in at 78, out at 88. And then we're about to halt down again, and then we flip back green. And then we're about to halt up. Here we're about to halt up. I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna go bananas. And I already sold my position. And then we flip back from another false halt back to a halt down, and like this is some crazy stuff. And now I'm just like, okay, now I'm ready to walk away with my green. Yeah, crazy, super crazy. And then we start to chop around there on INVO, kind of do a little consolidation, and that's it. But yeah, the one thing that I really wanted to notate in this recap was the previous days were all similar setups, and that's what I want to review today. We can pull up the chart archives, and this is super valuable. I love this chart. I just love flipping through all this stuff. You know, just having all my charts of every stock that I traded. I can just flip through them real quick. You know, it's just a really quick, review if I want to. If I don't want to do a video review, the video reviews usually take, if I'm watching like a recap video or my live trading archives, that usually takes about 20 minutes or so to review the full film. But if I want just like a quick review, flipping through charts, this is great. But yeah, we had ASTR. No, that was not one of those setups. Right here, TPST, you can see right here you had that higher high setup. The first higher high setup on the daily, and that was squeezing out of the $4 area. As you can see, you have that trend down, lower lows all the way down, and then we finally get that higher high on the backside move of a previous couple hot days. But yeah, we saw a move from 17 cents to 11.50, massive move. You have some shorts holding short, taking their profits on that technical play. The bulls getting long off of support level and increasing volume on this day. And then you have late shorts to the game who may have gotten in a little bit too late. Maybe, in this area anywhere from, October 27th up to November 8th. Any shorts that are still holding or started their position late, are cutting their losses for a break even or for a small loss, and that's also going to add fuel to the fire for a decent bounce. So we did see that bounce on TPST. Here's the intraday, a move from 3 up to 434, and I was able to trade this very well. You guys can, I think I did do a recap on this. I'm not sure, but I think I had like a $100 green day or so on this day. It was very choppy in this area, very hard to hold on to profits. I know a lot of traders struggle in that area. And then CDIO, this one was not one of those setups. LIFW, yes, this was the other one. So previously made a big move from, previously made a big move on LIFW. Let's get into view slideshow, right? Yeah, so here we go. LIFW previously made a big move from 3 all the way up to $17. Massive move on massive volume. Let's say you have some shorts starting their position here, adding lower, and they're riding this down, and this is the day. You have that technical play, and first higher high And shorts, you know, taking their profits from previous days. Any late shorts that may have gotten in here or maybe in on the tail end of this day are cutting their loss for small losses or cutting their break-even day. And then you have longs getting in off the support level and increasing volume, getting long. And that's just, again, going to add a nice influx of volume to the, you know, to the long side and seeing that nice squeeze. So again, this is another good technical play to have in your arsenal. Always keep previous stocks that just made a recent move. Always keep that on the side chart, because you need to be aware of the chart that's forming, and you may not see it on your gap scanner, because a lot of these stocks that were making the move on this day or in these days, you know, off the lows, the pre-market does not have a lot of volume. We saw that on LIFW, TPST, INVO. The pre-market was just not really that hot. Not so much INVO. INVO was, I think, was a leading gapper and decent volume pre-market, but TPST and LIFW, you know, this may not have even shown up on your gap scanner because of the lack of volume. So it's good to keep previous runners from either the previous week or previous days on a side chart, so you can take a look at potential technical plays on the chart later in the week or a couple days later that you may get from shorts covering their position, taking their losses, cutting break even, and longs getting in off the support level. And then the target is usually the higher high. So usually looking for, you know, I was a lot more conservative on LIFW. You know, I wanted to look just for the break of 9, because you have the break of these topping wicks, but we really did get the break of this level here, which is right at 10. We actually got to move up to 11. So, you know, that's where your target should usually be, is the new high on the day, the higher high. That's usually where your target should be. And then you do want to be careful, you know, continually trading these setups after it breaks the target is a lot riskier, because you have the overhead resistance of longs who are trapped. Now it starts to flip from shorts covering their position to longs trying to, you know, sell into the liquidity, you know, trying to either minimize their loss if they're trapped up here. You also could have shorts who have a higher cost basis adding to their position on this day. But mostly it's going to be longs who are trapped, who are trying to get out either for break even or for a small loss. And that's going to put downward pressure on the price and push it back down. That's what happens most of the time when you get these dead cat bounce setups. So here's an intraday of LIFW. So, you know, curled up. You may not even seen this on your scanner. We do halt up, make a pretty decent move, breaking that $9 target, which is my first target, but we did make a move up to 11.20, so a little bit too conservative on that target. But yeah, right after we break the target, you know, continually trading it is definitely risky because of the downward pressure on the price. TPST, again, you know, you have longs that are trapped, maybe pushing this down, and you can see on the intraday, you know, right when you broke that target of $4, which would be the higher high, you know, we get that downward pressure and doesn't really continue. You usually don't really get that continuation back to the highs most of the time. Rarely we do. That's why, you know, it's definitely better to, you know, play it safe after you do hit that target, and to, you know, monitor your risk level if you're going to continually trade after the target. And then we can take a look at INVO again after taking a look at that. So, you know, breaking the target and then, you know, rejecting pretty hard after breaking the target of, well, my first target was 140 for me, but again, I underestimated that, went all the way up to 2. But continually trading it after it breaks the target is risky. So that's a good play to have in your arsenal. Very good examples this week. I don't know if it's going to happen again next week. You know, I do want to see some fresh tickers that I haven't seen before or traded before in a long time. You know, on fresh news, you know, the market is up. You know, it seems like momentum's coming back in. So it'd be really great to see some more solid moves. Like PXMD was a great one. PXMD, I wonder if we'll have that dead cat bounce set up. It's fading a little bit too hard. Doesn't seem to be finding any significant supports. We went from a new high to a new low. Wow, $10 down to 1. That's a crazy one. PXMD, I did pretty well on. But I don't know if that's going to be in play for that dead cat setup because of the lack of support that's coming in. It just keeps to be fading back lower. But yeah, I hope to see some fresh tickers next week. Hopefully we get some better action, from fresh tickers that may, continually make a move. As far as previous tickers that made a move, I could keep these stocks on watch still. If it does, I see INVO start curling back up against 2. We could see a new high up to 3 or move up to 3. I would assume it would need volume from a fresh catalyst, but you never know. It's good to keep these on a side chart as well until they start to fade in volume or fade in price. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to fresh tickers. Now that INVO had its dead cat bounce, TPST had its dead cat bounce, and the last one was LIFW had its dead cat bounce. So looking forward to sitting down Monday morning. Hopefully we get a nice thick scanner. Hope you guys enjoyed the recap. We can take a look at my calendar. So first green week in a while. I had a lot of break-even weeks, but this one here, this day here, I was trading PXMD, had a nice $400 day, and then the past 2 days about $100 a day. Kind of picking up a little bit again. So it's always good to see. Definitely want to lean into this momentum. If we continually see this momentum, lean into it. Don't be afraid. I got a profitable system here. And I want to, start putting my money where my mouth is when I see a really good quality setup. So that's what I'm working on. You guys can check out my daily report cards. I do my daily report card every single day. And that will be in Trade Journal under my portfolio. You guys can check those out. I do one of these every single day for every single ticker that I trade. Doing my daily report card here for INVO. So pretty much, going through the charts, the setups, the details, how I traded it, my statistics, etc. So you guys can check that out. You guys can join the Discord as well. Check out the link down in the description to join the Discord. I'm active every single day. You guys can chat with me and collaborate. So yeah, check that out. Check out those other links. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're a new viewer, subscribe right now. Hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys next week. Have a great, fantastic weekend. And thank you for your service for all those veterans out there. And I'll catch you guys on Monday. All right. Peace.